Hello, this is John. Welcome to the weekly water outlook for the South, recorded on January 26, 2014. Well, really the story this winter so far has been temperatures. The polar vortex, that unusually cold air, has been sort of wobbling south from time to time. The areas here in purple and teal indicate the coldest temperatures early this week, and it looks like that's poised to settle south once again, primarily over the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley, but some of that will be brushing the south. But let's first look at past precipitation. It was a very quiet week. Precipitation in the form of snow, for the most part. Some light snow was indicated over east central Texas, but virtually no rain over most of Kansas, Oklahoma, or Texas, other than some light snow over the western sections. Thus, percent of normal precipitation was well below normal, 25% or less of normal over the region over the last week. So again, a pretty quiet week across the south. Temperatures were cool. Looks like temperatures range from near normal, as indicated by yellows. Maybe the lighter green is also close to normal. Then we get into some below normal temperatures in the darker green, in the 2 to 4 degree below normal. And in that area where we had some precipitation, temperatures a bit cooler, -4 to -6 below normal. So for the week, I think we ended up a little bit below normal. Now there was a bit of snow here and there. You can see these purple dots. That indicates snowfall up to 4 inches. We have some in the far western part of Kansas, western part of Oklahoma, northwest Texas, and then that cluster over the east central part as well. So generally very light snow, and really none of that is left on the ground other than maybe a few spots here and there. This is snow depth, and you can see there's really no snow over the south at this time. And you can see the southern extent of the snow band has been pretty active, actually, over parts of the upper Midwest. This band right here has been very persistent throughout the winter so far, so that's really been a very active band. We had some earlier bands in this area, but those have not really stayed active as we've gone through the winter months. So here's the current jet stream. We do have some active winds over the area, and the winds shaded in yellow or red are the more stronger winds, but for the most part those are up to the north, and it looks like a pretty quiet week as far as the jet stream goes this week. Now, from time to time I talk about the Arctic Oscillation, and this is an imbalance in atmospheric pressure. And basically it's either negative or positive, and this line here sort of shows you the zero line. So if it's above this, it's positive, and it's below, it's negative. And these black dots indicate the forecast as we get into February. Round out this week and get into February. So it's forecast to be very negative, highly negative phase as we get into this week, then rebound a bit, and then stay negative as we get into February. So I think the story is going to be a negative Arctic oscillation well into the future, and that's going to mean cold weather. Matter of fact, if we look at this here, we see the forecast here. This is the forecast dipping late this week. And if I sort of track this back here, you can see that is the coldest. This goes all the way back to October. That's the lowest reading, the coldest reading, most negative phase of the winter coming up. And matter of fact, this purple circle here indicates the likelihood of remaining negative well into the month of February. So if we look at the polar vortex again, this is later this week, midweek. It gives you some idea. The coldest air settles in over the upper Midwest. The green is generally about 10 degrees below normal, so that cold air will also be sinking into the south, but not nearly as cold as it's going to be in this region here. As far as precipitation goes, it looks like a pretty quiet week again. We've had a series of quiet weeks. No significant precipitation over the south. There could be a brush of some snow over east central Texas again as that cold air moves in, but generally not a whole lot. Now if we look here, we do see that area of blue, and that's a couple inches of snow, maybe even 3 inches in that band right in this area, but it looks very narrow here, and the vast majority of the region does look pretty quiet. As far as the hazards this week, it looks like no precipitation hazards, and the coldest temperatures up in the upper Midwest. So let's look ahead here and see if we see any significant trends. Week 2, it looks like cold temperatures, again sagging to the south. This looks to me like that 10, 15, 20 degree below normal type air, most likely close to 20 degree below normal in Oklahoma, 10 to 15 in Texas, February 2nd through 8th. Could be a bit more precipitation. This area in red is indicating more significant precipitation, so this could be in the form of some snow. We'll have to see. It looks like the western sections of the area are going to be trending dry. Eastern sections could get a bit more snow. Now let's look at the period February 2nd through the 8th as far as temperature goes. That's that cold air right here sinking to the south. And look at this February 9th to the 15th. It really looks like a record-setting Arctic outbreak during the middle part of February. Right through the brunt of February, very cold air. And I think this is looking at the 20 to maybe even 30 degree below normal temperatures very far into the south. As far as precipitation goes, green indicates enhanced precipitation. Could be a bit more in the 2nd through the 8th of February period, but it looks like the 9th through the 15th, once that cold air settles in, it should be quiet. Right now, I don't see any real significant precipitation over the south, but that could change. So the takeaway, dry conditions persist this week, temperature fluctuations this week, but it looks like cold air will be settling in, and it looks like a very cold February on the way. As always, nice talking to you, and I will be giving you another briefing next weekend.